Apologize if any of this doesn't line up quite properly. The audio recording was originally so bad that I'm having to come in and re-record this over the top. Okay, so what we're going to be doing today is taking a look at a design brief. We're going to look at this brief, which is about a local hotel that wants you to produce some design ideas for the homepage of their website. They want to target families interested in the local countryside. You'll try out different design techniques using text, images, and color suitable for the target audience, which reflect the purpose of the special edition. You'll then select one of the design drafts to develop into a full page layout using a range of suitable design and page layout techniques. So, I'm just going to highlight a couple of key points that we should take interest to. First, we have families. It's going to be about families. Then it's going to be about the local countryside, the UK countryside around us. Then we need to consider text, images, and color. And again, it's going to be for a website. So that will be something you pay attention to. Let's start by looking at color. So I'm going to go to the Adobe Color website. No, actually, I'm going to bring up this. This looks at the psychology of various colors, considering what they're used for in terms of what emotion they reflect, what industry tends to use them, and what kind of emotion or what they're meant to stimulate in the people who see these. And you can see you've got pretty much the full spectrum here. Now, if you go through all these, we're going to be looking at this section over down here with the green and the yellow. These are all about environment. They are about energy, nature, relaxation, rejuvenation, balance, farming, harmony, growth, leisure, travel. All of these things are just the kind of things that we were looking at when we considered our brief. Families, local countryside, hotel. So those three colors really nicely match up to our brief and are quite close to an analogous color. So if we now go over to the Adobe website, and you can see here it allows you to select a design. That one's on analogous at the moment, and so if we move it around to the green sort of area, you can see it gives us an analogous color going from green to yellow. That's very close to what we're already looking at. You could pick a slightly different design or hue. Like if I pull this one up, I can make that one a bit lighter. Pull this one up, I can make the yellow a bit lighter. So we've got some darker or more vibrant and some more lighter colors. That gives you a pretty good layout, sort of making them curve around nicely. Well, that's not a bad idea. Now, adjusting the darkness, that feels a bit better. The other one was a little bit pale. This is good. So I'm going to take a screenshot of this in a second. Alright, take a screenshot, I've pasted it back in, and now I've got a first saved colour layout. Right, if I wanted to try monochromatic, this is pretty good. Lots of nice contrasting dark and light greens. Alright, yep, that's good. I'm going to take a screenshot of this one. Take a screenshot and I'm going to paste it over in my Word file. Now, you've got two similar but different color palettes that we could use. So go back again. We can take a look at complementary. That's a little jarring. Split complementary. If I move it over, so you got the purple on one side, and that gives you one accented color, the purple, and the yellow and the green as two more harmonious, kind of analogous colors. Triad is very similar, but it's a bit more on opposite ends. That one is maybe a bit too separated out. Now, you can see it's close, but I think I prefer the split complementary here. So I'm going to use this one as my third design. So, once again, screenshot that one and take it across, paste it in. So now I've got my three colors. You can see there, all saved on there. I can use reference later. So now I'm going to take a look at images. So I'm going to go back over and I'm going to look at both Unsplash and, in a moment, Creative Commons. I'm going to search for UK countryside, because of course there's a lot of different countrysides across the world, and we specifically want UK countryside. So you've got a bunch of options here. That's a nice kind of, this one's also nice, but that looks a little wintry. And that's kind of a little autumny, and we want maybe a summer theme. Got a bit of a beach pick here. That's good. Some more kind of Highland stuff. Be good for like maybe a Scottish one, but maybe not for a UK one. That's quite nice. You can see here it's got the cliffs in the background. Of course, we're down south. We're associated with like Dover, White Cliffs. So this is a really nice one. So of course I'm going to copy it and paste it into my design notes. And there we go, our first image. Okay, next. Oh, this is a really nice one. Yeah, brilliant. This one's great. Gonna grab this one straight away, bring it over, put it into my design notes. Really good. That would go quite well across the top of an image. Here we've got some of the colours like our colour scheme. Okay. That's another nice beach one, but we've already got a beach image. So let's have a look at the Creative Commons. They've got some more kind of housing associated ones, which is good because we're doing hotels, so we want to look at houses. Now this one's really quite nice. I'm going to copy this one and I'm going to paste that one over in my design notes. So yes, where is it? Here we go. Yeah, this is quite nice because it's got definite building vibe going on there. Reminds people of hotels. Okay, this is nice, but it's a bit more landscapey. Kind of subtle landscapes. None of these jump out at me. Kind of a little bland. Oh, here's a nice one. Yeah, this is good. It's got quite good shape and directionality, that horizontal one. I'm going to grab that one and put it over in my notes. Oh, this one's a good one too. Right, give me a second. Just paste the first one into my notes. I'll come back and grab this one. This is even Sussex, which is pretty local to us. And grab that one and paste it over in my notes. It's got good verticality, this one. Lots of up down. The last one had good left right. This one's got good up down. You might use the first one to go across the page. This one you might go on the side of a page. Right. We've got colour, we've got image. Let's have a quick look at text. And we're going to go over to Google Fonts. And let's do a couple of searches. Let's search for rustic. Rustic means kind of like countryside. And oh, there's a couple of good options here. This is quite nice. However, yeah, unfortunately this is not downloadable from here. Right, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove rustic from the side, and I am going to go for a display because I want a display font, and I'm just going to browse through these until I find one I like the look of. I'm looking for something soft and friendly, family orientated, but with a certain amount of style. That looks pretty good. It's a little more rounded, but it's got a touch of angularness to it. Friendly, but without being over the top. Opening that in a new link. That's actually quite nice. Big, soft lettering. Yeah, very definitely friendly vibe. I'm going to just leave it at that for now. So I'm going to copy this one across to do my design notes. And then, of course, I'm going to copy across the second one. Right. And this, a very good set of design notes that talks about text, images and color. And now I'm going to go over to the drawing board and start to use these notes to try and make a design. Thank you. Welcome back. So, earlier we went online and we did a little bit of research. What we found were two sets of fonts, a couple of images, and a couple of different color palettes that we might want to use on our website. So we know it's a website, so we're going to have a look at certain website designs. Now, anyone who did the creating a website task last week would have seen this website. But this one gives you a couple of standardized layouts. For example, this one here, we have the masthead across the top, or a place for like the title or a logo, a few other links, a main image, two separate images. That kind of looks like maybe that design, or say maybe possibly those design. That doesn't really quite match up, but this design here. I think that one is a bit minimalist for a hotel. I think I want something that is a bit more than that anyhow. We have this one, which is the 3D screenshots. Very good for if I was marketing kind of like magazines, web page, applications, stuff like that. Anything that I'd be looking at screens of, not so good for a hotel, I don't think. Now we've got the advanced grid. Now this is looking a bit more up my street. Got the masthead again, big picture, other little pictures down here. You can kind of see here. And this here starting to look what I'd actually probably pick. One big image across the top, masthead at the top, couple other images accenting it. Featured graphic, text on one side, graphic on the up one. Nice simple one, very good for if you're looking at a logo or company one. 5-box system, kind of similar to the one before here. The main image, a couple underneath, area for masthead. And then we've got stuff with a sidebar. Now this is getting useful if you've got a complex site like a store or something. Something where you've got lots and lots of pages that you need access to with a sidebar. That's very useful. Big gallery, maybe if you were doing like not a hotel but a hotel chain and you wanted loads of different locations, each with an image, that might be nice. And one big solid image or a power grid. Now, out of all of those, I think I want to go with something that looks maybe something like that one. So, I'm going to put this one away for a second and take a look at our page. So, I'm going to be using a bit of A4, set out in this orientation rather than this orientation. Often, if I was doing a web page, I would use this kind of portrait orientation because web pages are normally wanting to scroll upwards. And so I'd start here for going and go down. But seeing that we're doing a web page that probably isn't going to have a huge amount of content, it's probably more about have a look. We want to see it all at once, and therefore I'm using this orientation, the landscape orientation, because that's closer to what you'd see in a monitor or TV screen. What I've also got here, I've got my good friend, the old guide. I'm going to slip that underneath, just so we can have the guide if that will be useful. So, I am going to have a quick think on what we want to do with this. Now, as I reach for my pencil, okay, here I've got a couple options. This is, whoops, bring it around the way around. This is a cheap set of colouring pencils. This was actually the cheapest ones I could find on Amazon. Could use these. I'm actually going to go slightly more sophisticated and pull out the 24 scale colour system. The reason I'm going to do this is because I'm going to later have a go at trying to match up some of these pencils to the actual colour scheme we've got, which is going to be slightly easier with the 24 rather than the 20. Also, they're all nicely neat in order, and the other ones have got a little messed up in the packet. The other thing I'll need is a standard pencil for drawing out my guidelines, although I seem to have mislaid my pencil for some problematic reason. so I'm going to go straight into having a pen. Okay, now we've got our first third, middle third, bottom third. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take, whoops, wobbled the table there. I'm actually going to take the first top third, and I'm actually going to use all of this for my masthead. I'm going to use one of the images earlier as part of that masthead. So I'm just going to take that one off and say this is going to be my masthead area, which now leaves the bottom area for the images. I'm just recording at the moment.
Oh, sorry.
This leaves the bottom area for the images I want. So now we've got the middle and we've got the bottom third. I am going to lightly put a line across this middle third. And you can probably not even really see that on there, but if I lift this one up, you can see it's just giving me a small guiding line to be roughly where I want to place my images. So let's have a look at how much space we've got here. Now, this is an old bit of A4, so actually if I measure it, I'm going to measure it with the old school inches, and yeah, you'll see it's 11.5 inches. Now, not so useful for us, we want to have centimeters, and we can see that this is a shade under 300 centimeters, and so our halfway point, I'm just going to put the 150 on the halfway point, and we can start thinking about what we want to do. The distance between the two thirds is I'm using 100 there, so if I make the box I want to be using, say 75, what I need to do to work out the position I want to put it in is take 75 and divide it by 2. So 75 divided by 2 equals 37.5. So I'm going to take my ruler and go 37.5. So 35, 6, 7. Put in a little mark there. That's roughly 37.5. And then 35, 6, 7. 37.5. That goes in here. And now these are nicely marked across the center. Now I am going to take this, I'm going to grab my square. Sorry, excuse me the noise, I'm just rummaging through my thing. Take my sail, set it along that, and take this line down. I'm just going to estimate this one actually. That looks pretty good. And again, get this across, take this line down. In fact, actually this side's got measurements, so if I come in here and I'm going to say this one is going to be, this is 75, we can take it down, say, to 50. On this side, take it down to 50. And I'm going to take this one across. Now, what we should have is this. Yeah, this is just about 10mm, about 15 here. It looks like I might have got either the center is slightly off or one of these measurements is slightly off, but to begin, this is reasonable at this level. So I'm going to say that I'm going to move this one, say I'm going to take 20 over here, offset this one by 20 over here. This one of course was 75, so this one is going to be 25 and this one is going to be 75. Then again across the bottom. Now I'm just going to eyeball this, but you can take your time if you wish. Ooh, that one was a bit over the top, but hey. And now we have our basic design of a heading area, a little space in the middle, a space of images across the bottom, and what I would put in here, it would be a background image, and I think I might even say take this up a little bit and have a little kind of menu bar across this bit one, possibly semi-transparent, that would let the whatever's behind it, the image behind it, show through slightly. And I might even go for having, I'll have maybe the logo sit right down here in the center. Now if I put this one in the center, put the center on the 20 mark, and I can tap down, and that would be 40 across. And again, if I go to the, I'm actually going to take this to the thirds. So I'm going to just make a note in here. That's going to be our menu. This is going to be our logo or title. Over here is main image. And these three are going to be image 1, image 2 and image 3, and that's going to be my first base design. Now this is only a base design. What we've got to do now is take this to the next level, and the way I'm going to do that is by looking at how we can actually bring in the design elements that we wanted to talk about previously. Because if I overlay this now, I can start making designs based on this template. Now, as we said earlier, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using the images and the color schemes set out previously. So I'm going to take a look at some of the color schemes we came up with. We had the monochromatic color scheme, which is nice, but it basically it's all greens and it's kind of subtle. I might not be able to replicate it that well with my pencil, which leaves me with our analogous and our split complementary. Now, the one I think I am going to try to replicate is actually going to be the split complementary. So, taking a quick look at our colours, we're going to need, say, oh, that's maybe a bit too orange. Right, that's going to be the yellow. We can darken the yellow by using a little bit of black or brown in the sketch. I want a nice solid purple. So, got a nice purple here. A nice dark green and a nice light green. And here we're going to have the dark green and the light green. So, now if you don't have these colours, all you need to do is go onto this one and just simply note what colour you're going to be using there. So I'm going to take these colours, and put these just aside for a moment. And now I'm going to take a look at the images. So, got a couple of options here. You see this one, very horizontal. That would be a very nice one that would go over the top. This might work well, cutting across with this in one corner, that in the other. That would be a nice kind of look. I really like this one. I think that is probably my favourite for the top header. In fact, yes, I'm going to say this is the one that I'm going to use for my top header. And so, whoops, I take a look at this and I think, okay, I want to take that across the top. So, move that into center so you can see. It will be sort of basically something like that. With, if I take the sheet now, maybe that would be better for showing you. I want something like that. Oops. Yes, so I want that to be the top strip image across. It's a nice horizon. So I am going to quickly sketch that out on my design. Now, I would normally use a pen and pencil for this one, but as needs must, I'm going to quickly use the black coloured pencil. So, got a nice long strip here. So Right, that's the, whoops, move that over slightly. I've got the little roof in, and I know that this roof kind of moves off. Yeah, this actually goes pretty straight across, right to say the center. And so I quickly grab my guide. I'm going to pop this down on top of the guide, and I know that I want to take this line all the way across from here to the center, and this line is now going to have to go down like this into the center to get myself my line of perspective. You might remember perspective from all the way back when we were doing the animation unit. Now, there you go, we've got the roofs coming in. Now go back to my main image grid, put that back on, and yes, this line goes across all the way here. That gives you the bottom of the image. I check again, I look across on this image, and yes, the sun is just about parallel with the bottom of the roofs. So I come in with this line, and note the sun is about here, which allows me to quickly come in with this pencil. I might as well put it in now, because this is might as well put the lines on it to show that it's definitely the sun. So now, I've got the sun on the one side, this on the other side, got the, I'm just going to put that in, basically the building in the background. Oh, that comes up to about here. And then till that goes down sort of like that angle, and then if I grab a blue, the blue comes across and even just clips the bottom of the psalm, and so right, and there's a little kind of foreshore bit that kind of comes across there, sort of like that, like there. There's a line that kind of comes up again, like to almost nothing along here. By the time we get to the middle, these are not quite disappearing to nothing. Whoops. And then Right. So, and just to bring the back in, I'm just going to put a little blue to show sky, just real faint, and here what we've got is a reasonable representation of that image. Now you see the main image going across the top. Now if I put that in and I just line that up again, I will also see that about across here is where our menu is going to go. So I'm actually going to say that, right, the colours we've got here, blue, green, yellow, those are all very natural colours and go well with the natural background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in, take our purple, which is our kind of split off one, and bring this in across here. And I'm going to say that the menu bar is highlighted in purple. It'll be semi-transparent so you can see through it, but it will be a strip of purple that runs across the top, and that purple is going to work well with the other colours we're going to be using, but will also be a nice accent. And then to offset that, I am going to say that the background of the below is going to be in light green. And if we've got blue, I'm going to say I'm going to quickly do the border of these boxes up in a blue. Actually no, what I'm going to say, what we've got in the rest of our images, we've got a lot of green in our image. Actually we've got a lot of colours in our ones. Actually we've got almost two ways to go here, because we've got green and blue in all of our images. I'm going to say that rather than making the background green or blue, it might even be worth actually it might be worth putting the background in as a shade of yellow. Yes, sorry, I just said so. Yeah, I might suggest yellow because yellow is very warm and the rest of our palette is really quite cool. So quickly just going to bring in these boxes. I'm using blue just to highlight them, just so they stand out. That's really quite rough, but no matter. This is, again, this one is my draft copy, so I'm trying to spend no more than, say, 20 minutes on it. Right, for the logo I might go with a blue, because I've not been using the blue in much else, and although we're going to have hints of it in sky and sea in the images, we're not necessarily going to have huge overwhelming amounts of it. I'm gonna go for, I'm just gonna call this place, I don't know, say Rustic Hotels. That sounds a good option. Rustic being kind of associated with countryside, hotel of course being hotel. And what we want to have here is a fairly ornamental, yeah, that's a pretty nice ornamental kind of title. So now of course if you don't have stencils you can try doing this by hand or by copying a font you've seen online, or by literally printing it out using Word or something. Whoop. You need to hold these stencils down or you'll get problems like this. Now, I start from this side with the rustic, so I'm actually going to start from the end and work back for the hotels. Oh, okay, I managed to misspell hotels. H-O-T-L-E-S. Well, that's pretty bad. Well, look, I'll put the H in anyway, just to give people an understanding of what we're doing. That's why you should never try and spell something backwards. But okay, got Rustic Hotels in a slightly fancy display font. Okay, always check your spelling twice. Okay, and let's see, what images did I pair with this one? Well, I've got the seaside one at the top. I do really like the this one, the signpost one, so I'm just going to sketch that one in. So that's a nice little signpost. We got the nice little pub sign. I think this one's having a lot of blue, will work well underneath the main sign, which is also blue. Those should hopefully work well with each other. Oh. Terrible mutant lions. done in yellow. And finally, I like this one, but it's very similar to the main image, so I think I'd offset it by using this one for the final one. That would just be, whoops, not quite, but okay, that's a really rough sketch again. But here you can see, oh, and I forgot, in here I would have stuff like some of the main pages of your sites listed in that menu bar. Take you to home, go to various sites they've got, as in, or I should say, probably make that hotels, if I dare spell it again, and contact Root's Classic Contact One. So here, we've actually got a quite detailed design, but done quickly-ish in rough. Okay, I'm going to leave that one there for now, and see what you guys can come up with.